Are we live? Are we live? Yes, we might. Yes, we might be. Yes, we might be live. Yeah. And we're here for another. Let me put my glasses on because I'm going to spend at least 1 hour here to kind of showcase this methodology of development with language models, which I don't always like to call with AI, but because of the colloquial terminology, then we can use that as well. So let's set the stage a bit. Let's kind of go through some things as we get some viewers and some subscribers. And we're going to kind of talk about it in multiple ways, multiple facets. So remember, intent-driven development, based on the name, you always have a good idea of what is going on here. So without further ado, I think the audience is me for now. So let's go with that. I think my first thing is let's think about our talking points first. I'm going to lay out the problem, which is uh, let's with the project. We're going to go through a simple task. We're going to start with the meta app, but first we need to run the project, right? Let's start basic with the virtual environment, okay? Well, believe it or not, this is still valid in 2023, 2026. Google is still valid, right? So, and sometimes it's much faster in AI. So, with that, we're going to create a virtual environment here because we do not have one. So, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna create this virtual environment here, and now we're gonna see if we can activate it. Okay, we're gonna let it do its thing as it's going. It's going to take a while. Okay, virtual environment created. So now next, create, then activate. The Google Flow is a bit different, so we're gonna have to activate that because we are in Windows. We're gonna use this instead, which is this syntax, and we're gonna use this syntax. And in fact, let's just do it manually. Advenv that scripts that activate dot pat. Let's actually just type the activate one. Okay, and let's see what we come up with. Now we are active. Okay, so we're activated. So now we're going to install uh, beep. And in fact, here, this is where our trusty copilot will shine. Let's say how to install pip package in here with requirements. I kind of know how to do it, but I'm just going through the vibe coding kind of thing. I know it's gonna be pip install -r, and we pass in the requirements. Okay, and before we even go in there, let's just look at that. We have these two MK docs, but we also know that it is we have Flask also, and we have some other packages. So at first we have to also put these in the requirements. How we do that? Okay, so we have little processes that are going on, and while this is going, let's just do a pip freeze. Okay, before we install, let's do a pip freeze, and we're gonna pass that to requirements that text. Okay, and it's going to Hopefully, if it's Windows, it's going to freeze the peep for us. And let's see what this comes up with. Well, I think it's lacking. Deleted. Contents. We need Flask. We'll actually see what our app actually needs. So we're gonna go through our application, okay? And we're gonna see what we have. So first, let's actually check our app.py, which is nothing. So this is going to be our first intent. We want to clean up the application. So our first task is going to be, I think, since our app right now it's loosely uh, based on many things, we have to convert it into a proper Flask application. So I think we can take some time to analyze the code and come up with a structure for our current directory. Then we can install that in our virtual environment. So as this is going, let's go back to Google and kind of figure out what is a virtual environment. What does Vent do? Okay, we're gonna see what a virtual environment is. So with the Python documentation, it's we have our own independent sets of Python packages, and they are basically a folder. It doesn't kind of interfere with other parts of our system, and that's the beauty. Let's actually fix this setting of virtual environments. Our system stays isolated from all stuff, so we can install things as we want without the messing up or interfering with our system. So this is the command. In fact, we're going to start this kind of a running documentation kind of thing. Okay, we're gonna start with this running documentation kind of thing. I'm going to create a directory here called docs, and it's going to be some loose documentations. Okay, and we already have that. So let's create a new one here called, I guess, model. Okay, mental map. So this is, remember, we're gonna put this here. So how to create Venv, comma, that's it. And then we have, and then we're going building. So he said, what am I trying to achieve? I am going to basically show a better way to uh, beyond vibe coding. So I'm going to start with like a, before I'm going to start with think of a blog, but it's not a blog. It's two things. It's the user interface, but it's also the process behind it to kind of show a way to vibe code, quote unquote, faster and better without wasting tokens and going back and forth. Because we remember that I'm going to run. When this is run, I'm going to show you what we have so far. So this is using the Flask framework, which is lightweight, that uses Python. And let's generate the Flask skeleton. Once I run it, you'll see what the app looks like. But for now, we have all of these HTML pages, right, that are kind of self-contained. It's like, you know, the proper, we have the nav bar here, which is there. We also have the save nav bar here again. So all of these things are going to be in a layout folder, in a template folder, right? And then it's going to be good. But while this is going on, let's go with concepts, okay? We are going to start with this mental map. Let's go to our prompt. Okay, let's go with our intent and let's preview it here. Okay, this is the principle behind our programming. We have a intent template, which is what we want to achieve. Okay, we have a goal. This is a text. We type in, this is what we want to achieve. Context, this is what we know about what we want to achieve. Okay, we say this is the files that we want to edit, and this is why we are doing it, and this is the approach that we're going to take. Okay, so now let us okay, I think people are coming little by little. I think it's because, first of all, can you see? In a way, in fact, I think it's an opportunity to actually show also the process. Okay, so create a new tab here. Okay, let me, okay, let's take our intent template. Okay, okay, all right. So I think people want a visual. We're going to visualize. Okay, while this is going. Starting off slow, but we're gonna keep going. Okay. While this is working, we are all of this, right? These are all the prompts. We're going to do a bit of meta. Okay. As a git ignore, we're gonna ignore the that. Okay. launch Inkscape to help us visualize a few things. But now, let's do a bit of research on uh, okay. Okay. So with that, okay. So with that being said, let us open our agent and let's see if that command runs. Okay. That's our first trial. We're installing our pip packages here. Okay. Now we're gonna do Python run.py and see what comes up. Okay. And let's go with okay, localhost 5000. So this is our app. Okay. Okay. Thank you. While this is going, I'm going to just go here and say open agent sessions. You have all of the sessions going. Okay. Okay. New task is always do a visual check of what is going on, right? Just a quick visual. Okay. That seems good enough for now. What if this? And sometimes, let me tell you, it's faster to just go and Google it. Okay? Well, remember, we just Okay, so trees are good for file systems, directory structure, class hierarchy, parse trees, document object model, search trees. So now we want to see how we can implement it. What are Let's see how it is implemented in Python. Websites are still important. They are much faster, much more navigable. Right? We just have it. Data, children. Data could be anything. And all right. All right. So I think I'm ready to commit our first. So that's the first commit, right? So we commit. Okay. So now let's actually stage all. And then let's commit. Okay. So our groundwork is laid out, and our groundwork is laid out, and okay. So our first. So now this is what we have here. Let's preview our application. Okay, and this is our application. Okay, do you see? So that's wonderful. Okay, now now we need the task management. That's the We're gonna use the tools that are at our disposal. Okay. Okay. Now our intent is task management in a dog fooding way. And let us go back to our language model to kind of give us an idea. Okay. This is what this is saying. All work must originate from a root intent within the existing. Okay. Let's start with this. So this is working principle. We start slow. Okay. And this is the interesting part. That's important instead of duplicating templates. So remember, this is what we're building, okay? And this is it, right? So now we are going to add, for example, let's say that we want to add, this is the meta part, okay? So this is not working yet. So we're gonna start with the dashboard actually. We're gonna start this with this URL. And we're gonna say, okay, using the principles laid out above, okay? Let us create an intent node for this, okay? That's it. We're gonna create an intent node for this, and we'll see what this comes up with. Let's run it. Remember, intent and recursion tree. So instead of always having to come back and forth with the AI, hey, do this, oh no, fix this. No, we have to be specific, like, gee, this is what you should do. And then it doesn't have to touch this again. Every time it touches a code path, it doesn't load it again. It already understands it. It's almost like it's remembering. That's why we have to learn to target it, okay? And we need to have a history, right? As things are progressing, we know, okay, this part that we are trying to build is complete. For example, we're gonna document and consolidate our environment. We have that. And then this is where, and this is the actions that we have to take. Okay? So with that being said, it's going, okay? We have to understand, okay? We're building the system here. So let's actually put that in our intent tree. So what do we need? Well, let's go back to here, formula. Let's go and we're gonna create in our meta app, because this is important. We're going to create this intake and MD. See, active intent. We're gonna allow this. Okay, so you see what's going on here? Now we're gonna create this little section here, right? It's like a JSON. This is like how we are helping the AI to think. And in fact, let's see it from a different kind of perspective. Now, okay, this is part of the code too. It's almost like a task management. We have an ID so that you can find it. It's active. This is what we want to do. This is the tasks that we want to accomplish, right? And this is the context. What is the context? We can even have like another field here that says knowledge. Okay, we say extra knowledge. And then artifacts. Artifacts are what we want to create at the end, okay? So It's gonna make interest. It's gonna make sense. I know it's not interesting to people right now, but we're gonna keep pushing. So this is going to be our reviewer, okay? So we're gonna have a first. So this will take care of, okay? Let's put it as a nice gray. If we double click in there, okay? We want this, and then we want implementer. So this is like the filter. And you want the manager. Okay. Well, it's okay. 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 I want to say that first of all, there's this idea of the hook, right? One part, our code, after every step, our agent or human should understand that they should update the intent tree. And at the same time, our um, database, I think we start with an intake form and then maybe a little basic model that can evolve as we go. So I think that's what we should do. Okay. So I don't know what is the delay, and this is what we have. Let's go to the journal, and let's see what we have. Okay. All right. So now let's check. Let us check our implementation to see if everything is good, right? Collapse, and let's see. Well, I see. And sometimes you have to actually give it the thing. So we have to go to Flask, layout, template. Okay, Flask. As per this, right? So are we wasting our time? That's kind of like the idea. I think live coding puts me under a lot of pressure, but it keeps me focused. And okay, yeah, be patient with me, guys. Things are gonna get better soon as we are building our system. You know, it's this part. Yeah, these. We don't. Okay. Okay, let's see what our Gemini has told us. Okay. It's gonna be our intent. Okay, so in our notes, I'm going to actually create this other. Okay, so a good step. Okay, let's check our commit message, refactor and place to use it in earlier system. Okay, let's save everything first. Let's stage everything. Staged. Let's save that. Okay, let's save that. Okay, let us commit. Okay, now let's check our knowledge base. Okay, what does it say? Okay, we have the seed intent. Gonna plan. Okay, okay, let's have a bit of fun, right? We cannot just work all the time. Okay, so all right. Sometimes you gotta trust the system, right, to do what it must do. So now while this is going, let's play a game, right? That I've been building. So wait. It's our gameplay. Right. Well, our app is. Let's see if we have anything viable. Okay. So let's load the track. Okay. Let's load any track. Let's detect a track. Okay. So this is a visualization. So let's keep that playing for a while. I think this is more interesting as with Vibecoding. Let's have that right there. Okay. That was a good hour of streaming. Just get into the habit of doing it. This is what we're gonna work on next. Thank you guys for whoever watched it. And that's it.